This is in response to Bill O'Reilly's Talking Points memo from Wednesday, August 6th. And Bill brought up a couple Gallup polls, some of the numbers. You know, what was interesting about the numbers to me, Billy, was that they dislike Congress a lot more than they dislike Obama. They dislike the Republicans a lot more than they dislike Obama. And in terms of, are we better off, or are our children going to be better off? You know, a lot of that might have to do with the fact that people don't like the way Republicans are running Congress, and that there's been a complete stymie on their part. You know, a complete railroad of anything that can be accomplished by this president has been stopped in its tracks, you know, by the Republicans in Congress. Now, can you say that, oh, Obama should be able to lead more? Well, you know, Americans are very skeptical of the last two presidents, as you had Dan Rather point out, but at the same time, we don't know what the end game is. We don't know what Obama is doing. There's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes. As I mentioned to you a little while ago, Billy, you know, we were able to get the chemical weapons out of Syria while Syria was having a civil war, and not one American died in the whole thing. So yes, there are some terrible things going on, which you want to blame the president for, saying he has no leadership, mostly in Iraq. You know, but as of right now, no Americans have died doing anything in Iraq lately. Okay, and that's and whatever is going on, there's lots going on behind the scenes, and it is protect American lives, also to protect American interests. And in the meantime, Obama is getting just slaughtered in the press by folks like you. Because just as an example, you brought up another statistic, which was on the immigration, to approve or disapprove of the immigration. You know, one of the questions that possibly was asked in that survey, but was not presented by you, is that how many want us to do more humanitarian things for the refugees, the children refugees that are coming over to this country? You didn't bring up that point. You just said people were dissatisfied. Well, they may be dissatisfied because they want more to be done in a positive direction, more to be done for the refugees, more to be done in terms of helping them, more to be done in terms of allowing us to get more judges, to get more security at the borders, to get a fair assessment of what's going on, to help out those countries in Central America, those three countries I believe that they were, you know, hopefully maybe get them to have more industry to get growing. So there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes. And your survey only brought up the one thing, whereas maybe a lot of the people in the United States would want more to be done in reference to that. So again, this is what you do. You bring up the negative things, you reinforce it, you make it look like it's even worse than what it really is, and you blame Obama for the whole thing. And you tell us that we need to be worried because it's only going to get worse. Oh, the other thing was, just to bring up a few quick things, which I disagree with you vehemently. Let's just take an example of Reagan. Okay, so Reagan came in. One of the things that he just jumped all over Carter for, and I remember this from the debates, you know, was the debt and the deficit, you know. And of course, he tripled the deficit when he was in office. Reagan did. You know, he tripled it. All right? He didn't care. He was a big government guy. He did what he wanted to do. But, you know, the economy, yes, there was high inflation, but there was high inflation. I remember with what's his face before Carter, Ford, whip inflation now. Remember, Nixon had price controls back in 71 or 72. So you can't even say that, you know, this was all started with Carter or these things, because there was high inflation at the time. That had been going on for a long period of time. So, and Reagan didn't do really that much in terms of reducing the deficit. He also started a couple wars. He also raised taxes. Okay, so, and there were a lot of things that he didn't do. One thing that I really, really want to emphasize is Carter had solar energy on top of the White House. And what did Reagan do? He got his oil guys in, and they said, well, let's just keep drilling here, baby. Let's just keep drilling in the Far East. They took down the solar energy. Carter said, hey, we could be energy independent by the year 2010 or whatever year that he said, somewhere right around now. And guess what? We're far from it. So don't tell me that Reagan did a great job when he came in, and he did such a much better job than Carter did. So, I disagree with almost everything that you had to say. You tried to bring up the most negative things and blame Obama even more for those negative things. You said Obama had 6.5 years. Well, 6.5 years, I don't know, but the stock market was what, 7,000 when Obama came in, and it's 16,000 now. That's a pretty good return for the very wealthy investors, for most wealthy investors. That's a pretty good return in those couple of years. Okay, did that happen in the Bush years? No. What about the employment figure? How many people have, how many jobs have been created in the Obama administration since January of 2009, and how many jobs were created in the Bush administration the entire time? Well, it's a lot more for Obama than it is for Bush. So, I mean, you try and bring up these things. Yes, there's a lot of terrible things that are going on in the country. Yes, some things are looking bad. Yes, people don't think that our children are going to be able to do as well as we have done. Well, I don't know. Certainly hope mine do better than me. But the way you bring up the negative thing, reinforce the negative thing, blame Obama for every negative thing that you bring up when none of it is really involved with him. Try and bring in parts about Reagan, bring in parts about Bush. They don't apply. They don't apply at all. They just have whatever is going on in your mind about all this stuff. It's not the way it is. Things aren't that great right now, but I have a very clear confidence that things are going to get better. And I think that the things are going to get better much faster when we get rid of most of the Republicans in Congress.